Okay, I'm using our history database, ABC Clio, and we wanted to get some background uh, for the novel Passing. So we're going to look at the author as well as the notion of racial identity. So I thought, well, try this because I had some trouble with just using the word as a concept, the word of passing as a concept, and finding it in this database. So I figured we'll just try a different term. And some databases are easier to use natural language, and pairing it with another concept will often help. This database is very particular in the way that it looks at only a history. Everything is with a historic lens, and therefore it's just a bit. We need to be more specific with our search terms, and usually larger databases that have many more sources, and might be books or journals and a variety of things. We have a little more freedom to combine words and terms together. So anyway, let's just take a look at ABC Clio. We'll get the backdrop. So I used racial identity. Now sometimes we might put quotes around those two words, but I'm just going to go with those two words just appearing one after the other. And we're going to look at only American history. So that's why we have this. We could do all databases by checking that. It would search all all four of them. But we're just going to go with American history because it is specific, this era, the backdrop of the novel. Okay, so what we got is 79 resources. Those are the results. Okay, so we know we don't want the NSA. That's another word for Japanese Americans born during a certain time. We don't need that. Just scroll down. Okay. Okay, well, number 4 is the Harlem Renaissance. That is definitely the era that this book was dealing with. And here's something. There's the name of a person. Jean Toomer, an African American who sometimes passed for white, was a significant writer and philosopher in the first half of the 20th century. So that is definitely going to help. These others, this is Native American. So we just do a look at the first few items that come up. Okay, so we can see they all have something to do with racial identity, all of these articles. And Richard Wright, very good writer. His popularity and his writing era was a little bit later than what we're looking at, the Harlem Renaissance, the 20s, and just before the 20s, the 1920s. Okay, so we're going to go back up to Jean Toomer. Oh, and I see that I had never heard of Toomer before. I assumed that might be a woman with the name Jean. It is not. It is most likely Jean, pronounced Jean. So, he was a writer and philosopher. So I'm learning just like you guys here. All right. His most important work, Cain, was published in 1923. And it's regarded as one of the first works of the Harlem Renaissance. Okay, well that's interesting. So it looks like we might have to do some searching in the Harlem Renaissance as well. Okay. And we'll definitely search for Nella Larson as well. Okay, I kind of like this. This is interesting. All right. Um, Now, on the left-hand side, we have other articles that have something to do with our search and the article that we have open right now. Okay, all of these people. Alan Locke, another prominent figure. Okay, he's called the Dean of the Harlem Renaissance. I would say you might want to look at all of these people. Okay. Again, it matters how you interpret the novel and how you want to approach the racial identity question from your assignment. So it does sound like it has a lot of promising ways you can go as far as research goes. Okay. Here's the term a new Negro. That's also attributed to Alan Locke. Okay, I'm going to go back. I was looking for going back to the results. I don't see it, so we're just going to hit the back button. In some of the databases, it's best to try to find if there's a link to go back to your results list. Here it is. So, okay. So again, all of these are helpful. Harlem Renaissance, John Toomer, Jazz Age. Okay. Okay. So there is a lot of info here. We also have Zora Hurston, another writer. Okay. So, yep, you're going to be the one making the choices here in your initial research. So I'm going to leave this search for racial identity, and we're going to change it up again. This time I want to look up our author, putting a comma after her name, her last name. It's a good way to search for names of people in databases in general. Okay, so we have 4 items specifically for her. Again, the Harlem Renaissance, and they've got something on one of her novels here. It's a quicksand. Okay. Okay, the Great Migration is something else you might want to look at. It's the movement of African Americans from the South into northern cities. So that may have something to do with your topic. Okay. Larson wrote about the politically charged subjects of racial identity and white privilege, as well as the social roles and expectations for women in the 1920s. So I want to get an idea about her. I think we all know that she was from she's a biracial person. Her mother was white and father was African American. But she didn't really, she wasn't with both of her parents for some time after her birth. Very young, they split up. So that's going to inform uh, her childhood and probably events later in her life. That's what I'm assuming. So it's interesting to note that both her birth father were by the name Peter. Um, it's just a consequence. not really a consequence. It's just, I'm not sure. Sometimes when I see the same first name, I wonder, was that a misspelling? Was that a, no. But we're going to take it as it says here, that it doesn't really matter. It's just a thought that came to my head. Sorry about that, guys. Um, okay. So she lived in a family with, she also had a sister. So she was the only, right here it's saying the only non-white. Okay. So apparently that figured prominently in her life and informed her writing. Okay, so this looks like a very good article to start with, just to get a good background of her. All right, and you may also get more ideas. For search terms, for looking at other databases and finding more information, finding out which way you want to go, what direction. Um, Again, she figured prominently in the Harlem Renaissance. Yeah, and as you can see, we've got John Toomer here. If you click on Harlem Renaissance, you're going to see people like Alan Locke again. The Great Migration, if you're interested in that. Yeah. Okay, so that's ABC Clio. Good luck, guys.